Hi guys, I'm Nick Arnold, and you may know me as Epic Kitty Cat Gamer or Nick the Quick or something along those lines. Deciding to do something a little bit new. I'm going to be reading a fanfiction of My Little Pony because this fanfiction is really incredibly amazing. And I kind of wanted to listen to it earlier, but I found out that the only reading that exists is just the prologue. So I'm doing a reading of it. And without any further ado, I'm going to get started. Twilight Sparkle lay beaten, kneeling on the cold marble of the throne room. Her gambits had failed, her allies had left her, and even Spike was currently imprisoned beneath the ancient citadel of Canterlot, in chains of lunar steel forged in solar fire. She had nowhere left to run. Each and every one of her plans had been shut down, and she was finally out of options. Where was she? Luna had promised. She had said that she would aid Twilight when the time came. She wasn't here now, and she had been counting on her. Without Luna, it was just her and Spike against all of the forces brought to bear upon them. There was no way she could have won, not without help. And when she was needed most, Luna wasn't there. So now she was forced to the ground, bound in adamantium chains, wearing the magical equivalent of handcuffs around her horn. The chains themselves sapped the strength of those they bound, causing more pain and weariness the more the prisoner struggled. She had fought against all comers wearing those chains, the force of her magecraft hurling guards ponies through the air, and even canceling several spells directed at her outright. The ponies holding her captive right now are the ones that she just couldn't bring herself to hurt anymore. And so, though she had tried to flee at last, Twilight Sparkle had knelt under the weight of that terrible iron, and with that her journey was over. Around Twilight were her friends, holding her bonds. Rarity herself had levitated the inhibitor ring around her horn, leaving her feeling muzzy and a bit nauseous. She stood in front of her now, trying to meet Twilight's purple eyes with her own sapphire gaze. Twilight instead chose to crane her neck away, staring at her old friends, silently accusing them all of their betrayal. Rainbow Dash, her loyal companion, stood with a double length of chain in each hoof, meeting her eyes without any emotion save a glimmer of sadness. Pinkie Pie, swollen with her child, gazed solemnly at Twilight and gave her a reassuring nod. She was unable to smile or grin around the links in her teeth. Fluttershy refused to meet her stare, seemingly the only one uneasy about the circumstances. But then again, she was usually uneasy, even at the best of times. She too held a length of chain in her mouth, feet planted delicately on the floor, and Applejack, honest Applejack, stood behind her, a length of chain in each hoof, meeting her head on, daring her to move. Her eyes were the worst by far, full of hurt and sadness. Twilight snorted, full of equal parts rage, fear, and despair. Even now she might have found a way to escape, if not for my faithful student. Her, of course, Princess Celestia, Dea Solaris, undisputed ruler of Equestria, and until recently Twilight Sparkle's trusted mentor and teacher. Twilight would have loved to refuse looking at her, so thoroughly disgusted was she, but she would not give her the satisfaction of bowing her head. So she looked up, into those orbs that so closely mirrored her own, and did her best to spit into them. Celestia recoiled slightly at the not entirely unexpected attempt, and spoke once again, in a voice laden with power. Twilight Sparkle, cease this foolishness, and let us help you. Twilight was having none of it. No more games, Celestia. Either let me go or cure me right now. Right here and now. Her haunches tensed involuntarily, and Twilight's friends tightened their grips on the chains, almost in unison. Her voice dripped with barely contained fury, all of it directed at the Alicorn, who had been like a second mother, an excellent teacher, and a first friend to her. I will not willingly take part in this plan of yours, Princess. I will do my best to resist you, body, mind, and soul. You've clearly gotten to my friends, and I hate you for that just as much as I hate you for what you have done to me. Her voice cracked, just a little. Me, Princess? How could you do this to me? Had you asked, I might have accepted, manipulating all of us, even the ones I thought you might have trusted. I cannot abide that. The little unicorn looked at her friends, all of them staring at her in horror, even now, even after she had tried to explain that she was still here, still Twilight. She had an audience, may as well give one last lecture to somebody who desperately needed it. Yes, I hate you, Celestia. I hate you for all the pain and sorrow you have caused me, and for what you have done to the ones I loved. I hate you for making me the happiest I have been in years, and for making that another falsity on your long, long list of lies. I see you clearly now, a deceiver and tyrant. I was a fool, I trusted you, and now I feel nothing but contempt for you. Finally, she looked back at her one-time ruler and set her hooves under her, barely rising from kneeling to standing. She braced herself and squared her shoulders. "Do it, princess. The game is over. You've won. Claim your victory." Celestia allowed herself a small smile, full of grace and understanding, every inch the perfect monarch, slipping into her accustomed role. She spoke. "Twilight, my faithful student, your crimes are forgiven, your mind reclaimed. You can be yourself again. Open yourself to harmony, and you can have your life back. Be still, my little pony. It will be over soon." With that, her horn glowed. A shimmering light filled the air, and Twilight was immediately aware of the presence of the elements of harmony. For the first time in nearly 10 years, Twilight was able to watch in person as their magic took hold, the pendants settling themselves around her friends' necks. However, this time, her tiara did not settle on her own head. No, she had not renounced her element when she had left Ponyville, fleeing into the night. It seemed so long ago to her, but no matter. Soon enough, her friends had set themselves, careful not to release the chains as Twilight had hoped they would, and she looked for the last time into the face of her old teacher and the element resting upon her brow. She did not look like a princess with that terrible power placed upon her head. She looked every inch the queen now. As one, the circle of ponies around Twilight rose into the air, elements glowing brighter and brighter still. Only Celestia stood upon her feet, hair whipping to one side instead of billowing, her wings unfurled to catch a magical wind. The light spread like smoke, spiraling inward and closer. The fuzziness in Twilight's head grew, and her body tingled and flushed with heat. Twilight Sparkle's greatest mentor and worst enemy knelt, horn spitting with power and mere inches away from her own. Before she could make contact, Twilight spoke, her voice small and afraid. "Princess, will this hurt? Before or after?" A smile once again spread across Celestia's face. "No, Twilight. It feels wonderful. Trust me. And afterwards, you shall know peace." Twilight sniffed, one tear rolling from her face to splash against the floor. "Do it. Just do it." Celestia bent down, her horn gently touching Twilight's forehead. Twilight cried out in ecstasy, transfixed by the power of harmony, and she knew no more. So that, guys, was my reading of the prologue of Lines and Webs. It's pretty amazing fan fiction. It's by Airstream. You can find it in a link that I will post in the description. And I plan to do more of this soon. So I will see you guys in the next video.